But to see the way he yapped after this, when a guy beat him pretty good and was somewhat of a factor in him breaking his leg, tires me out.
Alongside Chad Withrow and Paul Kuharsky, I'm Jonathan Hutton. UFC 264 happened this weekend. Dustin Poirier winning over Conor McGregor in the trilogy bout after the match was stopped after the first round due to a broken tibia, lower tibia, on Conor McGregor, who, as karma would have it, was leaving on a stretcher after he proclaimed that Dustin Poirier would be the one leaving the arena on a stretcher. A massive night for the UFC with ticket sales, with pay-per-view buys, with celebrities in attendance. It's exactly what you want on a big fight night. And their biggest star, Conor McGregor, leaves on a stretcher. Guys, your thoughts on how everything went down?
I was bummed out. I was hoping for, obviously, a better fight, a longer fight. It bums me out also because while I don't know the ins and outs of the sport to the level of Hutton, I love a good spectacle and I love a big event. And whenever Conor McGregor is involved in your event, it's bigger. And I like that part of it. Regardless of where he is right now in his career as a fighter, I've always appreciated that part about him. And it means, much like the SEC, it just means more when McGregor's a part of the event. So seeing that, the first thought is this it? You know, is this the end of it? I heard speculation that this being the trilogy, if McGregor lost this fight, much less breaking his leg in the process of losing the fight, that this may be the quasi end of his career as a spotlight main event type fighter. And I hope that's not the case. I hope we see more of him. I like the comeback storyline. We all love a good comeback. Hopefully we see that now with Conor McGregor. But my first thought, Hutton, was sadness because I feared that we're seeing the end of Conor McGregor.
I'm done. I've not been that into it, but obviously Conor McGregor is the reason to pay some attention. And I find him entertaining, and I understand his role in this whole deal. And Hutton's our guy who's into this and educates me on things. But the guy has one win in 4 years. Now, I respect that he took time off to get ready for Mayweather, and I respect that he did the Mayweather thing. We got together.
This is part of the reason why he has one win in 4 years.
That's cool, and I understand. I give him credit on that. But he's fought since November 12th, 2016. He beat Eddie Alvarez. He's fought 3 times since then and won once. There's not a lot of meat on the bone for him right now. And so I'm sick of him. I'm not sick of him, but to see the way he yapped after this, when a guy beat him pretty good and was somewhat of a factor in him breaking his leg, tires me out. It makes me like Poirier. Makes me like Poirier. So what he successfully did, in my view, is turn my attention to somebody else. And that, to me, might be good for UFC, but it's bad for Conor McGregor.
Now, 3 of the 4 fights have been against Poirier in back-to-back bouts, or Khabib Nurmagomedov, who just retired at 29-0 and is unanimously the best we've seen in the sport. He had a huge rivalry with Conor, and he choked Conor out. He tapped out. That's the last we've seen of Conor and Khabib, and that was coming off of the Mayweather timeout. He fought Khabib, lost. Khabib then fought again, retired at 29-0, and that's, we think, the last we've seen of Khabib.
Did he shut up after he lost that fight, or was he just
they kept going,
talking his ass off while they left the ring that night?
That was the night that Khabib and his crew stormed the ring after Khabib won the fight. Like that was on Nurmagomedov. Then you had Conor's crew jump in as well and go after it. There was a brawl after McGregor tapped.
So I don't like this element. I understand it's a completely different deal and what the appeal is and everything, but I still like some degree of the loser accepting defeat.
Here's what, that's not going to be McGregor, but it was after the second Poirier fight, the first fight this year. This goes back to why I chose to go with Dustin Poirier in the trilogy for the parlay. And it's because the the Nurmagomedov-McGregor rivalry, that is real. They truly hate each other. The two groups hate each other. I don't get the sense McGregor truly hates Dustin Poirier. And that's because he was extremely nice to him, donated to his charity. The initial conversation prior to the January bout, the end of the year bout, December or January is when they fought. The initial conversation was have an exhibition boxing match because Conor was training for a boxing match. That's what he was doing at the beginning of last year, and it fell through. So he ended up challenging Poirier for charity. And Poirier said, I'm in. Dana White saw this, made the UFC fight instead of the boxing match. And they were very cordial. During that fight week in Abu Dhabi, after the fight, when Dustin won, he held up the 1-1, says, we're going to run this back. McGregor said the same. And then McGregor cranked it up to 11 again, like he would against Nurmagomedov, but it wasn't real. It wasn't genuine. It was manufactured. And you could just tell that he was reaching for reasons to get angry with Poirier, and I don't think he ever was. And I think that's what he's having to search for more than anything now, is digging deep to find what led him on that 15-fight winning streak during a 5 or 6 year span from like 2013, 2014 to 2020. I just haven't seen that same guy. Now, he's a bigger moneymaker. He believes within 5 years he'll be a billionaire. He was asked that question at the press conference this week in Vegas. But is he at the same level in the fight game? I think the leg injury actually helps him and helps the story and helps the self-motivation to get back to the level he was, because that's really what, I mean, once you have all this money and you have all the fame and notoriety, it can't, what's the driving factor here? And I think he's got to find that again. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified every time Outkick 360 goes live. We are live weekdays, 11 a.m. Central, noon Eastern, right here across the Outkick network. And while you're at it, like this video and let us know what you think in the comments below.